Thank you very much, and welcome to the press conference for the world premiere of You Will Meet a Tall, Dark Stranger. And once is not coutume, I will start with the two men. In the middle, dead center, director, writer, Mr. Woody Allen. Sitting next to him as the écrivain almost raté Roy, Mr. Josh Brolin. And three of the graces that appear in the film as Charmaine, Miss Lucy Punch, as Sally, Miss Naomi Watts, and as Helena, Miss Gemma Jones. And the first question goes here.
Yes, good afternoon, Bruce Kirkland from the Toronto Sun, and a question for Woody Allen. It seems that the only happy people in this movie by the end are slightly crazy, and they are, of course, the future Mr. and Mrs. Wunsch, a lovely name, and they're the ones who don't believe that you may even need happiness in the present life. So everyone else seems to be left miserable, and I'm curious if this is, if you are being playful with this, or if this is a serious comic commentary on what life looks to you at this point.
This is my perspective, and has always been my perspective on life. I have a very grim, pessimistic view of it. I always have since I was a little boy. It hasn't gotten worse with age or anything. I do feel that it's a grim, painful, nightmarish, meaningless experience, and that the only way that you can be happy is if you tell yourself some lies and deceive yourself. And I'm not the first person to say this, or the most articulate person on it. It was said by Nietzsche, it was said by Freud, it was said by Eugene O'Neill. One must have one's delusions to live. If you look at life too honestly and clearly, life does become unbearable, because it's a pretty grim enterprise, you will admit. So I do feel that those two people are the only two people that are happy. They are capable of deluding themselves. They live. If I saw them at a party in real life, I would think that they were foolish people and dumb and silly, and I would laugh at them, but they would be happier than me. So that is the way I feel about it, and we can discuss this privately later.
Would the actors comment on that?
No.
Not as articulately, but yeah, I should pay you as my therapist.
Woody was synonymous with Nietzsche and Freud and Eugene O'Neill. I mean, what's great about him is he's honest about his perspective, and he's constantly putting together people to create a new chemistry in his films, and it becomes very familial. Almost unbearingly so, and it's, you know, he's a wonderful director that creates an electricity on the set where anything can happen, and he leaves it up to you to take full responsibility for your character. I think what people perceive as being so terrifying about working with Woody is the fact that he doesn't say a lot. The disappointment is there if you don't reach a level that is organic in his film, and that disappointment could manifest like this, which is really unnerving. You know, you'd rather have somebody screaming at you. It's much easier and much more familiar. But you do feel like you have to live up to something that is very organic, but yet it's very Woody. You know, it's always very Woody.
But they do, you know. The trick in directing these films is to be a good hirer. If you hire, you know, Gemma and Lucy and Josh and Naomi and Anthony Hopkins and Antonio Banderas, you can't go that wrong. You're hiring these wonderful international actors, these very talented. And so how wrong can you go? How much direction do you have to give these people? Hardly anything ever at all. So if you hire the right people, you can give them the responsibility and then keep your mouth shut and get your paycheck.
Ms. Jones?
He gives you wonderful trust for that very reason, because he doesn't say very much. And initially that's a bit disconcerting. And I would go home at night and say, he hasn't said I'm good, or did he like me? But after 3 or 4 days, I thought, no, I'm a grown-up. I don't need to have my hand tapped. And I felt he gave me great confidence to create. And as Josh said, I really, really wanted to do my best for him.
Ms. Bunch?
Similarly, Woody didn't say much to me. He told me to stop being funny on my first day a couple of times, which was very useful because I'm playing a funny part, but it's
yeah,
all
Lucy,
his
Lucy
comedy
came fully formed. Lucy had ideas about everything, and and
I was
did
very
what she wanted to
irritating.
do.
I was very annoying.
No,
I
it
had
was
lots
great.
and lots of ideas, and Woody was fantastic. He let me try different stuff, and I love improvising, and and of course, most of my scenes are with Anthony Hopkins, so that was a complete dream, and it was just very, very free, and I allowed it to feel very natural, and the comedy then feels truthful, and it's not playing a comedic character, and not being aware of the joke.
Ma'am, and then the gentleman over there. Ma'am.
Good afternoon. This is Carolina Valladares from ABC Spain. My question is for Woody Allen. You just said that one trick is to hire very good actors. You have recently filmed with many Spanish actors and actresses like Penélope Cruz, Javier Bardem, or more recently with Antonio Banderas, who is not here. My question is, there is any Spanish actor or actress that you would like to work with, and why? And finally, please, if you are thinking to go back to Spain soon, maybe to Oviedo, Barcelona, or somewhere else. Thank you.
Okay, well, usually I would say that that there are not actors or actresses that I care much about working with, because you write the script and then whoever's good for the part. I didn't know Lucy at all. I looked at a lot of women. It wasn't that I wanted to work with Lucy. I didn't know her. But as soon as I saw her work, I wanted to work with her. Usually it's who's good for the part. Now, having said this, I would like to, I always wanted to work with Kate Blanchett, and I never worked with her. And
She turned Sally down.
No. I never offered her anything ever. I never offered her anything. And I always wanted to work with Reese Witherspoon, and I never offered her anything either. But these are two actresses that I would like to work with, because I think they're both very talented. But I don't know them and have never, had the opportunity to speak with them or deal with them, or. But then no other names come to mind. I answered the question, right?
Correct, absolutely. Sir.
Hello, over here. Thiago Stivaletti, Wall, Brazil. My question is for Mr. Woody Allen. Mr. Allen, I'm here. Your film says many things about death. 2 days ago, Portuguese filmmaker Manuel de Oliveira was here, and he said that life is all about uncertainties. The only certainty we have is death, which matches perfectly with the title of your new film. So I'd like to ask, how's your relationship with death now, and would you like to reach 100 like him?
It's a good question. If I could reach it the way he reached it, I'd like to reach it. You know, I don't want to reach 100 with an aluminum walker and dribbling when I. But if I could be like him, yeah, I would love to reach it. My relationship with death remains the same. I'm strongly against it, and you know. All I can do, though, is write. And I was lucky. My parents lived a long time, so maybe that will be good for me. I don't know, but I'm a big coward.
Question over here. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a le micro là? Le monsieur là.
Yes. Okay. Hello, okay. It's Ninos Mikelidis from Greece. In your other films, when they are set in New York, you feel that they are people from New York, Manhattans, and in London they are Londoners. But in this one, it seemed that it was more, at least for the first 45 minutes or so, that it could have been set anywhere. It was more sort of, it could have been Madrid or Paris or New York. Was it purposely done? And when you choose the actors, when you know the actors that you're going to choose, do you write the scripts, the characters based on this, or do you try to choose actors that are against their character?
Well, first let me say that the picture had to be done in English. I couldn't have done it in Spain or France or Germany because these people had to speak English. I could have done it in New York or London, and that's fine. In this case, I didn't know who I was going to cast. I didn't know that I was going to cast Gemma. I didn't know that I didn't know Lucy at all. That was a very pleasant discovery for us. Josh, it occurred to me while I was writing the script, it would be great if I could get Josh Brolin to play this, but I won't be that lucky. He either won't want to do it or he'll be doing another film. But I did get lucky. He was available and wanted to do it. I did think of him in the middle of the script. I also thought of Anthony Hopkins, and I thought I will never get Anthony Hopkins either because he's out in California and he's, you know, doesn't like to work that much. But he wanted to do it. I was thrilled. But I usually don't think of people in the middle of the script. I usually look at the script first and then see.
Question over there.
You have to understand that there is a great seductive quality about Woody, and part of it is humility, which he doesn't have any of, but he comes across as if he does. But after he saw W, he got a note to me, and I had done a couple of scenes with Woody a few years before in a film called Melinda and Melinda, and he sent me a note that said, "You may remember me from Melinda and Melinda. I was the director." And then went on to compliment very sweetly me and W, then offered me the part. So, it's fairly easily put together how he seduces very well.
Well, he was great in that picture. You know, when I worked with him, I couldn't get a line out of him. He had 2 lines to say. It was like I was working with a mummy. And then he had a tiny part. Then I see him in W, and the guy's amazing. He was amazing in W. And I felt I had to write him because it was one of the best performances I'd seen. And then I saw him again in the Coen Brothers film, and I was thrilled that he was available, to do it.
Sir.
Hi, Woody. Jason Solomons from The Observer in London. Welcome back to London with your film. Nice to see you there. One of the big parts in your film is the voiceover, the narration. Mm-hmm. I wonder if you could tell me who was that's obviously your words, your script. Who was the voice that you hired to do the narration this time, and why you don't think of doing the narration yourself, given you so often play parts in your own movie? Why you didn't fancy doing this narration in your own inimitable voice?
I couldn't do it. If I did the narration, it changes the film in some way. I just wanted to keep out of it and let all these actors do it unencumbered by me as a pain in the ass for the thing. I hired an actor that who played in Vicky Cristina Barcelona and played in Melinda and Melinda. A very, very good actor. Of course, I can't remember his name now because I'm getting older and names slip out of my mind quickly. But he